Hello, folks. Thank you for joining me and Scott over here at Old Ass Movie Reviews. Want to say thank you very much for spending some time with us. We do appreciate it. We know you're busy. And let's go ahead and have some fun. Our review today is of Sabrina, the 1954 classic. I'm going to call it a classic. It's got Audrey Hepburn and Humphrey Bogart as the main leads. And I know what I think about it. I was shocked to hear what you thought about it. So, Scott, tell us what you think.
Yeah. Okay. Before I do, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for joining us. Please do us a favor. Hit the like, hit a subscribe, hit a share. Just drop us a note. Let us know you're here. If you catch us on whatever your podcast area you're listening to, please give us a 5-star review so we can be found. If you know, and just hit a subscribe. You don't have to come back and listen. Just subscribe, please. Help us out. We do appreciate you being here. Okay, Sabrina. This one started off. I had to laugh. I had to laugh a little bit about this because I thought, oh my God, I'm watching Better Off Dead. Because I shouldn't laugh.
I see the connection like right away. I do see the connection.
It's like, oh my God, she's not. She is so distraught over David, is his name.
That was played by William Holden.
Now, I'm just going to say right now, I love the chemistry of Hepburn and Holden in this.
Oh yeah.
Well, they later, I think they became married at one point.
They had an affair during the filming of this, I believe.
Their chemistry is very.
I think they broke up.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie.
Yeah, their chemistry was great.
Beautiful.
What I'm going to say, the movie was good. I love the dialogue, the witty banter. The innuendos. It was smartly written. But I could tell
Billy Wilder. Billy Wilder was one of the writers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
And no, that's fine. But one of the things that was distracting to me, and we've had another movie that did this, but I liked it better. This to me felt very much like it was coming directly from a play, based on the way the scenes were set up and shot, and the way the dialogue was. So to me, the pacing was a little off for a movie, but I did feel like I was watching a play, and it's like, okay,
and it was based on a play.
Yes, I know. Yes, it was. However, I just really, you're going to hate me, but I just wish Bogart wasn't in this and it was somebody at least 30 years younger.
I don't hate you. Shut your whore mouth.
I don't think Bogey worked in this role. Nothing against his acting. I didn't feel it at all, man. I didn't find it believable.
And here's the thing with me. I just found out yesterday at the filming or the watching of this film last night. The first time I'd heard this was Cary Grant was the original guy for Bogey's part, was the original part for Linus. And my only problem, and I love Cary Grant. Anybody who knows me knows I will watch a Cary Grant movie in a heartbeat. I will drop everything I'm doing, sit down and watch Cary Grant because he's so damn good looking. I'm jealous. But that's beside the
point.
Fair enough. But I could see where Cary Grant, it would have been an instant attraction. To me, I think he would have been too good looking for the part of Linus. You know what I mean? That's what I think where Bogey comes in. You're like, okay, I could see her not being attracted to him right away, but I can see her falling in love with him. Sure. Whereas if you're this young lady, and you're watching these two brothers grow up side by side your whole life, you got two good looking guys. I mean, no matter which one you fall in love with, you're going home, you're batting 1,000, you know? So I don't have a problem with Bogey. I understand what you mean, but I think he fit the part for what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be the old stodgy guy. That's why I think Cary Grant Cary Grant would have never come off for me as the old stodgy guy, you know?
Well, as Cary Grant had even said about this, he didn't want to be seen as like a pervy old man or something.
Oh, really? Is that why he left it? Okay, I didn't read that.
But he later did do a movie with Audrey Hepburn.
Charade,
where she was elevated closer to his status,
Right,
not as I think this is the problem that I have. She comes across very innocent and she comes across much
mhm,
younger than she actually is.
right,
And it really throws it for me. I like the idea of the older brother. I don't think he needed to be that much older. And that's
right, right.
I
I get it. I get
don't
it.
get me wrong. Bogart can act like no one else,
Right.
but I want my Bogart as Sam Spade or Casablanca. This
Yeah,
didn't
I get
work for
it.
me. And you did say this is a different Bogart, and it
Yeah,
was.
this is
It's like
a
I
different
ain't
bogey.
feeling it, man.
Oh,
But
oh, wait until I get you to watch Tales of the Sierra Madre. You
I,
talk about
I'm
it,
down.
but I think you'll like Bogey in that because
Yeah,
in that movie he really stretches. So just
yeah.
keep that one in
I,
mind.
I've
Um,
heard a lot about that. I mean, I look forward to that. I didn't know that he died not that long after this movie, like
yeah,
3 years later,
he died
in
in 56 or
57,
57. Yeah, but
57,
I,
and this
I
was
think he died of
54.
cancer.
Throat cancer, yes.
But yeah, I think he
Yeah,
does.
like
Yeah, I think
everybody
about
in
that.
that time period, everybody
Yeah,
was smoking.
smoking 30
Um,
cigarettes 30 packs a day.
this had some
Um,
good moments. It
yeah,
was funny, and Sabrina is just such a pleasure to watch. Audrey Hepburn.
yeah,
Um,
she's just a doll. Now
yeah,
I noticed something last night, and I looked around a little bit, but I need to try and find out for sure. She walks when she moves. Her hands kind of go back, and her
she's a
chest comes
ballerina.
out. She looks like she's getting ready to do ballet. She's got this elegant presence
She
at all
trained.
times.
She
Did she
trained it.
train as a
She trained
ballerina?
as a ballerina, I think, in the Netherlands.
That
Yeah,
absolutely explains everything. Because I looked at the wife yesterday. I said, "She's a dancer. Did
yeah,
she dance? Was she a dancer?" And neither one of us were sure. And I looked around a little bit, but I didn't find
yeah.
anything.
I did
I
run
didn't
across
work
that.
right. You have the Google foo, and I do not.
Yeah.
But I was just like stunned at how well just how beautiful she is. I
Yeah,
mean, she in reality
absolutely.
she was a beautiful on the outside, and unlike many people in the universe, she was just as beautiful on the
That's
inside.
what I
She
read.
was a huge humanitarian, and that when I found that out many years ago when she was still alive, I was like, oh my God, that makes her even more beautiful as a human
Hmm.
being, and even
Absolutely.
more attractive as an actress to me because she did play a stinker in a couple of movies, but she really good. She's so good. And you
Hmm.
just if you're a straight guy and you don't fall in love with Audrey Hepburn's character in this movie, you're not a straight guy. I'm sorry. I don't understand. Like I watched her the first time I saw this movie, I was actually had to watch it in pieces because I was working at a dealership many years ago, and it was the only movie they had. I had never seen it.
Hmm.
I just took it and put the tape in the player, and I'm sitting there watching it. And 10 minutes into this thing, I'm just like, oh my god! I knew who Audrey Hepburn is. I had never even heard of the movie,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, she's fantastic in this. And there's the point where her and William Holden are dancing, and they're just so close to each other. The tension that I said to the wife last night, I said the tension between those two could crush a diamond. That
Oh,
it
it's
would
there, man. That's
split
what
a
I'm
diamond
talking
in half.
about.
They're so close and they're never kissing. Their lips never touch, but they are so close and they're looking into each other's eyes. And it's just that it's almost like taking two magnets and putting them together, you
Yeah.
know? And it was
Their
just so
their
well done.
their chemistry was great. And I get what you were saying earlier about having Bogart is you want somebody different because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, there's no way
Yeah.
she'd ever fall for him. It's kind of a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing.
Right, right.
But I mean, I get it.
And I
It was
totally
hard
get
for me. Yeah,
yeah, I totally get what you mean though. Like maybe he should have been a little bit younger,
sure.
but
I mean,
when
Holden was 10 years older. He was 35 when he did this, or 34,
yeah,
and Bogey was 30 years older. So it's like, oh man,
well,
just a little closer would have worked better for me.
Lauren Bacall was 19,
Oh, geez.
I think, when her and Bogey first met. And I forgot which movie it was that they met on, but they didn't get together until I think she was 22. They met on another movie, and
Yeah.
I want to say want to say To Have and or Have Not. I want to say is the second movie they met on.
Hmm.
I might have the movies mixed up. But when they finally met the second time, freaking Bogey just could not like hide it. She couldn't hide it, and they
Yeah.
got together. And so that age difference in real life for those two was not that different.
Right.
As for his character and Audrey Hepburn's character, and I just look at those two. Even when their chemistry starts taking off, you can almost see when Bogey's starting to fall in love with her.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
But his character has created his own mindset. He even tells David, William Holden's character, I cheat on my wife every day with my company and with the board of directors because I am the company. This is my mistress.
He has a bedroom there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for him it was so he could work more.
Yeah, it was for sleeping. That was all that bedroom was there for, was sleeping. And he says it and he believes it. And then when Audrey Hepburn,
unlike Paul Newman in The Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
With his bedroom office.
His bedroom was there for completely different
sealing the deal.
Yeah, to seal the deal, exactly.
Yeah.
But his character believed his own press is what it came down to. And whenever he finally started talking to her and being a different person, it forced him to go out to try and save the business deal that they were creating.
Yeah. And
the movie is basically Sabrina Fairchild is the daughter of the
chauffeur.
Thank you. Words. I need words.
Line.
And David Larrabee and Linus Larrabee are brothers. Linus is the businessman. That's Humphrey Bogart. William Holden is the playboy. He doesn't.
Oh yeah, and he plays it so well.
Oh my God, that's how he really was in real life, though.
That's what I've read.
And he was a drinker boy. William Holden had to have somebody literally hired to bring him to set, put him on set, and all of his movies at some point. Just here, man. William, we're gonna get you. You're drunk. Yeah, take another drink, baby. You're right here. Okay, lines, and he would be right on. Camera would go off. He'd be like, "Hey, baby, give me a drink." Kind of, he was a partier. He was a freaking animal. But these two brothers are polar opposites. Linus has just made a huge deal to make billions in 1950. This company is going to do this plastics that is indestructible in almost every form. It's bulletproof. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me jump in on that. Just one of the things I want to talk about on this movie, which I thought was really cool, is we have the Larrabees, insanely rich, so we get to see what they thought of technology in the 50s and what it would be like in the car with a telephone, and some sort of weird telegraph machine with I don't know what it was.
There was the recorder.
And the recorders. It was really cool to see that. It's like, all right, okay. It's just something I wanted to throw out there. It was neat that they were trying to make what they thought tech would be for the rich.
You know what? I think they actually had that.
There's no way they had a phone in 1954.
The uber rich. I don't know, man. I don't know, because he was making phone calls. It would be no different than having like a CB radio.
But that would have been a CB. That's completely different. He had a damn phone.
He's not going to have breaker 19. Give me my secretary.
We got ourselves a convoy.
Yeah. I'd have to look into that.
1973 was the first mobile phone.
Really?
Yeah.
I just always assumed watching this movie that they had telephones like in real life. Like,
no,
that was just showing how rich he was.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool.
The Larrabees were. That's a good idea. Wow, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
but
pretty cool.
So David is notorious. He's been through 4 marriages. They've all failed, and he's just hitting like 30. He's just hitting 30.
He's cost the company a lot of money.
A lot of money. The whole family's a lot of money. So he meets Audrey Hepburn's Sabrina when she comes back from Paris.
Oh, that's so funny.
He doesn't even recognize her. And she's like in this beautiful gown, the little cap. She's carrying a little poodle. She looks like a goddamn model.
Hmm.
And David's just losing his shit. He's like, "Who are you?" "Oh, we're neighbors, blah blah blah."
Yeah,
She
I live on such and
yeah,
such. Yeah,
yeah, I live on down this road. He's like, "Oh, that's great. We're neighbors." I thought I knew
yeah.
everybody. She goes, "I thought you did too." And he's like, "You're not going to tell me who you are?" "No, I'm having too much fun," she says. So he's absently driving, and he drives into his own yard in where he lives, and he looks around. He's like, "Who?" And he realizes who she is because
Yeah,
somebody, I think, yells down, "Sabrina!" And
yeah.
he's like, "Sabrina!" He realizes it's the chauffeur's daughter.
Did
Well,
did you did you catch Mrs. Hathaway?
yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Is there any letters for? Did she mention David yet? Did she mention David yet? That's good. But she's still in love with David after being gone for over 2 years.
Oh
She's
my
still in
God.
love with David. Linus sees what's going on. The mother and father see what's going on. They can't have their son go into another bad marriage or a bad situation, let alone with the chauffeur's daughter. My
Oh,
God,
what
what
would
would the
people
neighbors
say?
think? And the funny thing is, Linus doesn't really give a shit
Nope.
what his brother does. He starts caring whenever he realizes the brother going out with the chauffeur's daughter is going to interfere with the marriage that he has set up for his brother with his business partner. Entered Linus, the glasses. Now, David
That's a great scene.
has two glasses stuck in his tuxedo jacket pockets in the back. He's carrying a bottle of champagne. He's trying to get out to the tennis court. He's sidetracked by Linus. "Come in here. Dad wants to talk to you." The father's yelling at him. Linus is trying to play the part of giving a shit. He spots the glasses in his brother's pocket, and he realizes, "I got to keep my brother from going to see this girl. I I got to get him to sit down." "Have a seat, David. Don't worry. I'll take care of everything." "Really, Linus?" "Yes, trust me. Sit down." He sits down. The minute he sits down, he breaks those champagne glasses. I cannot imagine in real life
That
how
would hurt.
bad that would hurt, how long it would take to fit. But David sits down on two champagne glasses on his butt. Oh,
Oh, that
oh,
was
just thinking about it just makes me go, oof.
it was funny because Linus, pretty much tricked him into doing it. So he
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
it was like, oh, that was slick.
That was a
Um,
good scene.
yeah. One of
That,
the things about that, though, I mean, not only that, Linus sees that this could destroy the deal that's going on with
yeah,
the sugar company, and there's a lot at stake. So he steps in to
yeah.
take over that. What was really telling is there's little cues and nods to social hierarchy or
Oh
class
yeah.
in here, especially with the father. His
Hmm.
first response to handle this is, "I'll just fire the chauffeur," a man who has been
Yeah.
loyal for years and years. It shows you just how shitty these people are and how they're
Well,
all about the money.
but then it shows you how good Linus is when Linus
Yes,
just looks at him and goes, "How are you going to fire a guy who's worked for you for 25
I
years?"
know exactly.
And then the father's like, yeah, you're right. But you're
Yeah,
right. The first thought was, "I'll fire the
yeah,
chauffeur." What?
because that's how those people would act, and that's how
Yeah.
they would do.
And then,
Linus was a decent human being. He started off with ulterior motives,
oh
but once
yeah,
he
yeah,
fell in love and saw, it's like, shit, fuck it, I'm killing the deal. David's going to get married, or
yep,
David can go off with Sabrina, and the hell with it. Love's
yeah,
more
yeah.
important, and I think that's a great part of the movie is at least that message that this is what's important.
But one of my favorite parts, one of my favorite scenes is when Linus is in the back seat, Bogey's in the back seat, being driven by Sabrina's father, the
Yeah,
chauffeur, and uh, Linus or Bogey is just like, "Hey, could you drive us up to the play tonight?" And the father's like, "No, I'd rather just be left out of your dates with my daughter." And Bogey literally just realizes, "Oh shit, this man has been driving me around on the last 3 days with his daughter, It never dawns on it. He actually apologizes. He says, "I'm real sorry. You're right. I didn't even think of that, Fairchild. I'm very sorry." And Fairchild says, "Well, I believe that there was a front seat and a back seat and a window in the
In
middle,
between,
and
yeah.
never the two shall meet." And Bogey leans forward. He goes, "I never realized it before, Fairchild. You're quite the snob." And Fairchild is driving. He's just like, "Yes, sir." He just keeps driving. And it's
Yeah.
like, the funny thing is, the biggest snob in the car at that time is Fairchild.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's really telling. That shows, just with that whole line of there's a front seat and a back seat and a window in
Right.
between, is a great metaphor for society.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool.
Especially for the time. But I like Bogey. For anybody who watches this movie, they may get the full wrong impression of, well, we'll say capitalism or rich people, because it was showing the difference between Bogey's point of view of capitalism and
Hmm.
building a company, and his father's view of capitalism and building a
Very
company.
different.
His father was just like, fuck, money, 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 power, money, power. And the father was kind of a bumbling fool at the same
Oh, he
time.
is, especially with those olives.
So he's yeah, so he's almost harmless. But somebody had asked him, well, why do you asks Bogey's character, well, why do you make the company? He says, well, I have sugarcane and I have the people that work the fields. I have people that have to drive this stuff. I have to build the trucks
Hmm.
to make to make the deliveries. I have to hire the delivery people. I have to build the
Yeah.
factories. People have to be hired to build the factories. People have to be hired to fill the factories. And he's just like, all these people are counting on this deal.
Yeah.
He goes,
I
and
thought
they
that was
don't even,
interesting.
basically, he says they don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
They need this deal more than I do. I've got all the money.
Yeah.
His brother's like, well, you don't need the money. He goes, it's not about money. If it was just about the money, I'd be a sad individual. you know, I do this because of, he's like basically looking out the window with his hands open saying, this is why I do it.
Yeah.
These people need this kind of attitude. And I was like, shit, that's the kind of capitalists that I like. The
Yeah.
guy who
There's
looks around
few
and
and
goes,
far between.
yeah, there's a reason that I do things, and it's not the reason everybody thinks I
Yeah.
do. I'm doing this because there's an entire planet that needs stuff out there. And then you get guys like the Amazon CEO guy. It's just
Or
who has
any
a really good product,
multi-billionaire.
but he's an evil fucking bastard.
Yeah, and I will
Son of
continue to
a
buy from him.
bitch.
Yeah. We're hooked, man. It's done.
We're hooked. And I love Amazon.
Well, here's the deal. We can say what we will, and like the Larrabee Corporation, they
Right.
provide all of that. But anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Right, right. But I'm just saying, like the juxtaposition between the two Larrabees, and then between
Yes.
David and his brother, and then the true love, that true love. Sorry, little bit of Princess Bride there for you. I don't know where I'm going with that. But the difference between the way David Larrabee fell in love with Sabrina and Linus Larrabee falls in love with Sabrina are two completely different things. One is very surface level, which
Mhm.
is David Larrabee, and one
Yes.
is I. This is the woman that I'm going to have 50 babies with. I'm going to retire to France and fuck the world. This is the woman who got me out of my own head, kind of thing.
And
And
that is
that's the
actually,
difference.
yeah, and that is actually really cool and a great point, because she is just absolutely infatuated with David. It's David
Yeah,
this, David that, Dave. And
yeah.
I am convinced that her dad really sent her to culinary school, not because her mom was a chef, but to get her the fuck away from David.
Well, yeah. Well, and that comes really clear when he's getting
Yeah.
the letters from her, and everybody's like, "Has she mentioned David?"
Yep.
No, not yet. Oh, that's good. No, here it is.
Over and over. Did she mention David?
Yeah.
And when I say this movie felt like a play, I don't mean it in a bad way.
No, no, I understand.
It felt like a play. And when we watched Devil Girls from Mars, that's one of the first things I said. I said, this movie's
Yeah,
a damn play, and it sure as hell was. And
yeah,
it's
right,
just
right.
something that is. I just think it could have been a little tighter, but
Mhm.
honestly, my complaints are nitpicking and just a personal thing that
Right, right.
I didn't feel the chemistry, and it was a
Mhm.
little off-putting. But I love the story, and I do think all the jokes were just there's they were just firing, man. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It was
Some
good.
some of the jokes were like whenever the father first finds out about David wanting to have an affair with Sabrina, he the father's going, "Oh my God, we had Larrabees that were pirates. We had Larrabees that were slave traders. We had Larrabees that were rum runners. We had Larrabees that have been in prison for murder. But we've never had a Larrabee as bad as you." And
Yeah,
he's pointing at David like, "You've
yeah.
done nothing but bring disgrace on the family name."
And
Like, and I,
his follow up to that is perfect. It's the 20th century. Just pick any other one. It'll be better than this one. So,
it's like, oh my God.
yeah.
It was so funny when the dad just goes off on a tirade. And the whole time, Linus, Bogey, the way Bogey handled it was perfect because he's kind of got a three-quarter view watching the father and his brother. And you can see his,
Oh, he's the smartest guy in the
yeah,
family. It's
yeah, his
obvious.
eyes and his eyes tell you everything. He's shifting, he's looking, he's trying to figure out how to get out of this, but not let the brother know because he doesn't want to cause friction, and not let the dad know that he's trying to do it in a peaceful way because the dad
Hmm.
he just doesn't want to listen to dad cry and gripe and bitch anymore. Oh, it's just so funny, and you can just see it in his eyes. You can just see what
Yeah.
everything's clicking, everything, all the cylinders are firing for him. But I love a happy ending, and this movie
Yeah.
has a happy ending, and it's if you're gonna fall in love and go off to Paris, Audrey Hepburn is the person to do it with, I guess. Yeah, especially
I
in the
don't think
50s.
anybody would complain with that.
She was as cute as a button. How
Yeah.
could you? How could you go? Doing that to her would be like kicking a puppy. Trying
And when I
out.
read that they were concerned about casting her because she wasn't your typical um, actress,
Yeah,
and as far as
yeah,
her looks and everything, it's like, all right, what are you talking about? I mean,
yeah.
she's
This was only
perfectly
her
cast for
second
that.
movie.
Yeah,
This was only her second movie, and I forgot what her first movie was. It went on
I'm
my
drawing a
head.
blank as well.
Yeah, I want to say Charade, but I think Charade came later. Um,
I think you're right.
but it was only her second. I mean, movie number two, and you're with two of the biggest names in Hollywood ever, not just of the 20th century, but ever to this day. You're
Yeah,
in a movie being directed by one of the greatest directors ever.
yeah.
William Holden was just coming out of Stalag 17, another good movie that I highly recommend for
Yeah.
anybody that's out there. Watch that movie. You will love it. It's a World War II movie, and it's a prison camp movie. It's got more humor in it than you would think, but it's a very stress
Well, we
inducing.
will have to this year return and do like a little war movie block like we did in the first
Yeah.
100 episodes.
Oh, that's right. We did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are very good movies to watch. But I'll say what I thought about this
All
movie.
right.
I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of my favorite romantic comedy slash just romances of all time. If I was to ever write a romance, I would want it to be this good or as good as The Princess Bride. Two of my favorite romance movies of all time. If I can get half, if I could do half as good a job as those two movies did, I'd be perfectly happy. That's
Well,
just watch it. You'll love it.
since you have mentioned it twice, that'll definitely have to be in this year for us to review The Princess Bride. Uh,
I don't
so we're
think
gonna,
that word means what you think it means.
yeah, I may have to throw in When Harry Met Sally as well.
Oh, I love Harry Met
If we're gonna
Sally.
do romantic comedies,
You know what? The wife's never seen it.
it is
I
Janine's
know,
favorite.
right?
So
Yeah, I love that
yeah.
movie. Oh, sorry. Rolls down the window.
I have seen it a lot. We will return to it. So back to Sabrina. My thoughts on it. It is a classic for obvious reasons. Look at the cast. My only issues were I just didn't buy Bogey as the part and wish it would have been somebody younger. They could have
Yeah.
had the same. The character of Linus isn't the issue. It's just
Right, right.
visually, it really threw me off.
I can
But
understand that. Yeah, I can get that. Yeah.
the acting, the dialogue, I love the humor. I'm not a huge fan of it. But
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. Of somebody of the time period, actor-wise, that you can name off the top of your head, who would you put in it? Just
I
out of
don't know.
curiosity. That's not Cary Grant, because I think Cary Grant
Well,
was
Cary
just
Grant was too
too
old.
good looking.
Yeah,
Well, I think you're
and
just too good looking.
well, that too. I can't pull anybody off the top of my head, but I would have found somebody about the age of William Holden because
Right.
that
Just
10-year
maybe a
difference
year or
didn't
two,
bother me. Yeah.
maybe like a year or two older than him.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
It
it.
was hard. It was like, my God, she's dating her father easily. And that was weird to me, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can see. Yeah, I get
But
it.
if I take that out, and if I was reading this, all of this plays perfectly well.
Right.
And it's just the optics of seeing Bogey in that. And again, my problem is I've only seen Bogey 2 other times:
Right. No, I
Casablanca,
get it. I get it.
Maltese Falcon. I love
Right.
Sam Spade.
Yeah.
It's, Maltese Falcon was great. That's the type of Bogey I want to see. And this was weird to me. So,
Yeah.
and it's like when you see any comedic actor all of a sudden do drama, or, oh, I thought they could only do comedy. Well, surprise.
Or the guy that's always played the bad guy is now the good guy, and he's funny.
Exactly. Not
Yeah,
what you
I get it.
expect. Not what you
Yeah.
expect. I do think if you want to take a look at classic cinema, this is a must watch.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm glad I watched it, but yeah, it, yeah,
I get it. Okay. I get it.
yeah.
Or
Whatever. We're never going to agree on every movie,
no,
but
I take it back.
so I'd like to thank you all again for joining us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, drop us a line, tell us what you want to see. If you got a movie recommendation, again, that happened once last year and we got a hell of a movie out of it. So please send us your
Well, it happened twice
resignations,
last year.
recommendations.
Recommendations.
Yeah,
Your
y'all
regulations.
fired.
Give us some regulations. No,
Some
wait.
regulators. Young Guns wouldn't be a bad one either. But anyway.
Young Guns. Oh yeah. We do, however, folks, have what? Oh, the actress's name is just slipped out of my head. We were just talking about her. We were texting.
Oh, Helen
Supergirl.
Slater.
Helen Slater. Got a couple of Helen Slater movies coming up on the docket. We have some gangster movies going to come up.
Yes, we're going to
We're
classic gangsters to all classic gangsters. So there's only so many in that genre that really stand out. So we're going to hit
Right.
pretty old and come up into at least the 80s.
Yeah,
for that, so.
it's going to be fun. We got a couple of newer movies that are coming out that we're going to try and do as they drop, or as close to as they drop as we
Yeah.
can, and get this is going to be all on Scott. All I'm doing is answering the phone.
Yeah.
So we're going to
So,
try
yeah,
and do quick reviews, maybe 15, 20 minutes, drop them. Just kind of get
Spoiler free too is
We're
what
gonna-
we're going to try and do with
I'm gonna
the
try
newer
to be
ones.
spoiler free. I can't promise you, folks. I spoil everything. I can't
Yeah,
help it.
we'll try our best.
But
So
yeah,
make
we
sure
got some good surprises coming
Yeah.
for you. So
Awesome. So make sure and tune in next week, and we'll have something for you. I promise you, something. Later.